3:43 a.m. and we got a bunch of new leaks, including one in our bedroom. It's a little bit confusing, so I better go upstairs. Yeah, it's really raining. This is quite a bit worse than normal. I got all the pails I can find out here, but they're filling up quick. Quite a few leaks over here too. This is quite bad. When it goes down to our floor, you know it's been bad. But this seems like it's catching most of it, so I don't know where that one leak's coming from. I don't know. Oh, you hate this too. Running down the walls. You know that that's going to come through eventually. Okay, this one's a bad one. And I don't know, looks like a lot of it's hitting that stone and bouncing around, so that's the one coming down to the hallway, I think. Well, that's not good either, because that's coming into the house. And that is from an area that's done. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is the face of a Chateau owner at 4 a.m. during a rainstorm. Oh, the sun is up. That was not a good sleep. There's just nothing like water dripping in your room after going through 2 floors to mess with your mind. Window's still good. That's good news. We did run into one more thing that's a bit confusing. Coming into the house. I don't know what that's from. It's gotta be this. I mean, we have paint cracking off the walls, which happens sometimes. And it feels like it should be off the roof, but I don't see anything off the roof, and there's no water there. So it's gotta be that paint, probably. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. You almost need a full-time person just to maintain, you know, and then have another second person that does upgrades. Super nice. The guys came today, our 2 friends from Mr. Chateau. Very nice guys, Jonathan and his friend Pierre, I believe. And they gave us a good quote for the stables, which is what I said yesterday. So, you know, it's an expensive job. They also came and took a look around at all the water coming in. Interesting, they said this is a chimney. This is a chimney that the edge has fallen off. And they also explained, this was super helpful too, that the reason we have so much water here, and it's in the V, it's in the trough, so obviously there's a lot of water coming through here, and that's extremely dangerous and bad for us. But the reason they couldn't get it finished is because they need it to get sunny so they can solder it. The metal hasn't been soldered yet, so between the seams, there's still water seeping through, so that's what's going on. It was nice, they mentioned too that they also have insurance. I mean, I don't know how that would work, because we have little leaks all over the place, and so I don't know that we'll pursue that. We just want to get this thing done, and they assured us they're going to try to solder it tomorrow, so that's really good. It'd be really good to have this done, because that is really troubling me. So someone's painting. Where are you painting?
I'm painting the breakfast kitchen.
Oh,
I know.
with a nice clean line in there. Oh, it looks great, Bess, looks great. And so I guess you're keeping these light fixtures?
No.
No, she is not keeping light fixtures. She does not like the modern. She says it's a Chateau. What are you gonna do though? You got 3 different outlets.
Yeah, I know. Well, that's gonna be in your wheelhouse of what we're gonna do. I'd love to just have one sconce with maybe 3 arms on it or something.
Yeah.
But so I don't know.
We'll have to figure out if we can hide the electrical.
Or if we could take one and put one and drop one down in the middle.
I mean, we can't. Well, see if we want to cut a ridge. If we want to cut through the concrete and make a big hole, we can, but we'd have to repaint.
Well, I'm painting right now, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah. Okay, well, we'll see what happens there. Good times.
Indeed. Well, we'll have to talk about the whole little plan at some
Yeah,
point anyway
right.
in this room. So.
Yeah.
But for now.
Sometimes when you've had a really tough day, it helps to find a job that is an encouraging job. A job you like. Normally that's mowing for me, but of course the mower is broken right now. So I thought, what am I gonna, I want to do one job where I can just sort of hopefully get it done and it can be fun and I can see progress. Because as I've mentioned before, it's all about winning the mental game. And so you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna take these old lights that used to shine down on the Chateau and I'm gonna see if we can uplight the Chateau. Now, it should not be hard. Our previous owner had brought a wire all the way from the basement, all the way up here, and just laying on the ground, just laying loose, because he didn't use this space, and running here to a little tiny breaker. Now it's all turned off downstairs. I put the tester on it, and there's no power. First thing you do is, of course, you test to make sure there's power. So there's power here. This is the regular breaker coming in from right here. But this is the wire that runs down from the basement, down here. No power at all. And I actually knew there was no power because I have gone to the basement and I know where the shut off is and I turned it off, you know, a year ago and it's been off for quite some time. So we can go and take this thing apart and move it to the basement. And I think we're gonna repurpose it in the short term and then maybe give ourselves some power down there. Now these big powerful lights that we had are probably gonna waste a lot of electricity, so we're not gonna run these things long term. But it is nice that they have big long electrical cords, so in the short term, let's set them up. Maybe eventually we take that light and switch it to an LED that's a little bit more efficient, but should be fun for now. A couple side benefits to this job, even if it doesn't work, it's good to get this cable out that's always been running down and looks so ugly. See, it's all clear now. That's nice. Just taking these off one at a time. I'm taking off these supports. I'm trying to be careful because I don't want to wreck the cable. Obviously you could use a cutters, but I think then you'd be in danger of cutting into the cable, which again, we do not want to do that. So I'm just kind of using leverage carefully. That was definitely some storm last night. There is water everywhere in the basement. It runs in from behind the back door. So we need to deal with that eventually too, but not today. Okay, we got the wire already down the stairs and I was gonna pull it through here. It looks like they wired it through here. So I was gonna pull whatever 100 feet, then it runs up here, across, and into this breaker right here, which by the way has a timer, which is kind of fun. So once we turn that, if we turn that on right now, there'd be big trouble. We definitely don't wanna do that. So there it is. And I was gonna pull it all through and put it in the right place, and I thought, you know what? Let's see if this works before we do all the work of moving everything around. Obviously, I'm conscious of the fact that there's water on the floor right close to where we're doing electrical, so we're very careful of that. But look at all the cable we have. Tons and tons and tons. This is where I keep my tools. This is underneath the front terrace. So what we're gonna do is we'll find a nice dry spot. Probably long term, we'll stay back under the house. A little safer back here. In fact, probably even on an inside wall. But for the short term, we'll find a nice dry spot in the terrace here, maybe over here, and then we can run the wires. We just run them through this thing here temporarily, and just through that door and out to the front. If it all works, we can drill some proper holes, get it all secured and done right. Maybe we call our electrician friend to formalize things. And there she is. The queen of the castle, working on recipes, getting ready for all the students. Just saw me. Sneaky, sneaky.
Well, we're making a little supper tonight. It kind of reminds me of a bourguignon, which we do here, which is kind of like a beef stew. But this one has pasta with it. Because we're having a fall session coming up, I really wanted to find something else that would be other than potatoes, which I do love potatoes. This thing I love. It chops things up so fast. It's my little tiny baby Cuisinart we found at Costco here. So amazing. And I love it so much. Another thing I like, these little bouillon cubes. Hold on, I gotta get a whisk. They sell them here kind of like in little gel capsules, which I don't know if we have at home. I haven't found them. but it's great. I'm gonna turn this down too. And it just dissolves so easily. It's fantastic. I like them. When we're home, I kind of miss them, although we kind of all buy liquid bouillon now, don't we? But this guy is great and dissolves really fast. And then when we're in session, oh my goodness, I'm sure we do 8 of these sometimes for soup. But anyway, I'll show you what we're making. It's like a braised short rib ragu. Oops, sorry. And I think it has potential to be good with burrata, so we'll give it a go. It's all snug as a bug in there. Meat's been seared, fresh herbs are in there, all the sauce is starting to come together. And we'll just let it simmer, and then we'll pop it in the oven, and hopefully in 2 or 3 hours we'll have some supper tonight.
Well, I just talked to the guys. We have an owl problem. There's an owl up at the top that's attacking them. So they were wondering if I wanted them to stay or not. And I was like, I don't know, whatever. We also have some damaged wood way up top. So it's good that they found that. They're gonna get some wood delivered and get that repaired. So I'm thankful for that. He's painting the doors of the kitchen. We're having a discussion about the owl. Yeah, it's nice. They said there's an owl problem way up at the top. And last night you heard tons of screeching, right?
I did, and it was, it's pretty normal for him to like announce his
hunt.
Yes, for the evening, and you kind of hear this screech, but then last night there was like hooting, which isn't hoot a lot. Yeah. Hooting, and then crazy screeches, and then other noises that I have never heard before, so. Yeah,
maybe she was displaced or he was displaced.
I don't know, they're not happy.
Not happy.
Clearly there would have been a breeze.
Yeah, it was a rough night.
So, you know,
big
that's
storm.
Maybe why they're not happy about it. Yeah, I don't know.
Who knows? Looking good though. The door's looking good.
Oh, well, it's just beginning.
Said tons of chips, on the...
On here, yeah.
Yeah, it's been hit many times, so...
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then this, I suspect maybe was a cabinet.
Oh, at one point, yeah. Right. That was cut out. I didn't even notice that.
Yeah, it's a bummer.
Oh, well.
Anyway.
You know, the more I think about it, the more I think probably even for a temporary wiring, we shouldn't go under the terrace because there are drips down here. You don't want to match electrical and water. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to stay under the house, even temporarily. We'll put it on that wood and we'll put good strain relief on it. I know a lot of my electrical friends are probably going, what are you doing? This is temporary. We're just trying to see if it all works. We'll, do it correctly and put all the wires in the right place once we get her going. All right, we got her wired up, but no power. Now, you always got to check to make sure this thing's working. It is working, so we got to figure out what's going on. Timer, and I think the timer is probably what's going on. Got to figure that out. All right, temporary wiring in business. Power in, yep. Power through, yep. Breaker for safety, yep. The ground, don't mind the Mickey Mouse ground, we'll get that straightened out if this works. Moment of truth, hey, we got light. Now it's making some noise, but if I remember these correctly, I wonder if that's LED. No, it can't be LED. It's flashing on the camera, but I don't know. It takes a minute for these things to really get going, I think. But we're gonna have light on the Chateau tonight. Woo! Total cost to the Loire Valley Study Abroad students, $0. Haha, existing materials. Figure out how much power these draw. Looks like it's not that much. I am praying for safety for the guys. They're working hard, the roofers. And it's really windy today. Too.
Oh, I already did that. But
Okay. So it doesn't feel cold.
Not really, no.
But
so you had a little bit of lardon left in a bowl from lunch, and I thought I'll use some of the bacon grease and stuff for when I'm making the food tonight. So I put it in here to warm up. 30 seconds later, kaboom. So apparently it's cold enough in an extreme temperature to go from this to microwaves.
Hasn't been open for a while. I just took the crowbar to it. It's not really on the hinges, but well. Oh, I just blocked something down. That doesn't sound good. Here we come. Oh, nice to be under here. Look at those little cozy hideaways. Lots of supports. That's scary. Well, now you know where to bury the dead bodies, friends. I shouldn't joke about that. I know that there's real things. Okay, we're gonna make a little hole. We're gonna make a little hole here for the wire. Just a tiny little hole in a cinder block. I don't mind the air getting through, honestly. It gets a little dingy down here. All right, now which one was it? That's unfortunate. By the way, I still remember the structural engineer. I remember text saying, hey, what should we do here? This looks like a problem. He's like, what should we do to fix it? And he's like, well, put a big bush there. As in, it's not really a structural problem, it's just cosmetic. Okay, I think it's this one. We'll know in a second. I don't know that is it. Let's go check on the inside again. Third one up, edge, was the second. So we'll put a hole in the number 3 here. No one can see from the inside, no problem. Got her now. Now, in case you're thinking, oh no, there's gonna be animals that get into your chateau. Yeah, guys, there's 100 places animals can get in. Look at those big open gates. And this thing, don't pretend, let's not pretend that thing wasn't stopping anybody. Maybe like a wild boar wouldn't get past that door, but honestly, that's one of those things that before you own a chateau, you're kind of like, oh, just seal that thing up. And then you get here and you see how incredibly big it is, and you're like, there is no human way you're gonna do that. So you just gotta plan around it. You gotta make your peace with the animals a little bit. Rental vans, but on the way back we thought let's get some dessert because we're going to cook tonight. But look at that beautiful roof. Ooh, isn't that great? They got the tarte citron, Bras de Venus. I enjoyed that last time actually. But we can't get the same thing. We'll get some bread too. Yeah, it worked, guys. It worked. That's only 2 lights. Probably we should put one in the middle too if we wanted to do it correct. Get a 3rd light on there, and then we could probably widen those other 2 out a little bit. But that's cool, isn't that cool? And again, it cost us $0. We used stuff that was just sitting around, wires that were sitting around, the breaker, the lights, absolutely no money except for the electricity. Super cool. Sometimes you just gotta take the W when you can get a W. The day started so hard with the 4 a.m. wake up and water running in all over the house. Again, the roofers could not have been nicer. They were very concerned, you know, and several of them talking to me, and so, you know, we're gonna get this. We're on the way. In fact, I want to talk a little bit about faith. So let's sit down. We're gonna talk for a couple minutes. We don't talk about Christmas much, but it's time to talk a little bit about Christmas and a little bit about faith. I am joined by a certain Leslie Hildebrand nowadays, in the last 30 years. Yeah. Cool, eh, Bess?
I know.
You can see on the camera, you can see the hot spots right now. It's actually not.
Oh, yeah, you can't see that in real life.
No, in real life, you can't see that. So fear not. Let me zoom out a little bit for you. That'll maybe change as time goes on. But again, we just put them out. We haven't done a lot of finicking. Yeah, no. And if we put one in the middle, that would spell a lot of light too. It actually, this is the only shot that it's looked like that. But I was saying sometimes you just got to take the WA. Like, what a tough day. And yet this is a W, and the meal you're cooking right now is a W, which you guys will get to enjoy in a second. It just smells like $1 million. I think tonight we crack open a sparkling apple juice.
I saw that.
$3 sparkling apple juice, and we celebrate our love. And
the beautiful molding on this.
Oh man!
Like,
and honestly,
that's the joy of the light. You can't really see that on the camera either.
No,
that's a shame.
It's okay. The camera. Well, here, I'll go to the side maybe. Oh, you want to walk with me?
You just
okay. We'll see if we can
see it.
It looks a little different real life. It looks better, but it still looks good on the camera too.
Well, no, you can't
Oh, you see, there it goes.
the highs and the lows.
I touched the focus, now it went away. Yeah, that's more like what we're seeing, guys. Yeah.
That's better.
So
it definitely, you know, it's the joy of having all of those carvings on the house, is that light really plays with it great.
yeah, it really does. We had three in the last week. We had three wonderful new additions to the students. We were full already, had a couple dropouts, and now we're more than full again. And they were fantastic, got some great staff. And you know, actually a bunch of people did come in and support us, which is really nice.
So very
Thank
nice.
you guys from the video. And then also I wrote an email. We have kind of like a support email list that we're only putting people on if they ask to be on. So we're not trying to sneak people on there. Well, but a bunch of friends are on it.
And it's also for like more personal updates.
Yeah,
and, you know, as we go along.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I'm not trying to sell that, but you guys are welcome to join it. But anyways, so it's been a good day. It started with water waking us up in the middle of the night.
3 in the morning.
But this is great.
Yeah.
Okay, Bess, what do we got?
Well, it's called
New recipe?
It is. And hang on, I'm making a mess.
Well, we'll come in for the tight shot later. It's a pasta beef dish.
So kind of like a bourguignon, that kind of beef. But it's more like in a pasta sauce cooked for a long time with burrata on top. And also probably parsley, which I don't own.
That's fresh mozzarella, right?
So
fun. And of course we've got the beautiful French bread, or $1.40 of French bread, French butter, which is even better, and then the desserts. French food is amazing in restaurants, but this looks pretty good. Don't think I've ever had. Woo! Hello. How did I miss that action shot?
it just started going.
Thank you, Guillaume. Sparkling apple cider, grown right next to us.
Right behind us.
$3. There's the dessert coming. Tried 2 different ones from Maison Bernard, and Eclair, and that orange surprise. Yum. Santé?
Santé.
Santé. We're gonna make this thing. I tend to be a purist when it comes to beef, but this is good. The fresh mozzarella. This should make the Loire Valley. This should make the Chateau book. Let's say as a cookbook for the students, which someday we should put out there, but someday we probably will. But it is super good. Or you could just put this recipe. You could just do a video series with the recipes.
I could.
Yeah, you have some good ones. All right. I'm gonna sit off to the side because I want you to see the beautiful chandelier. It's always hard to figure out how to get a good view here. You got the beautiful fireplace. You got the incredible roof and cool pictures there. But let's see if we can do it. I'll stay off to the side. You can look at the beautiful, there we go. Okay, hey, this is a Christmas series, French Advent, and we talked very little about Christmas so far. And so I thought, man, it's appropriate today, I think on a day like today, a day that was really difficult, started whatever, 3:45 a.m. with water dripping, not on our heads, but it felt like it was on our heads, running around in the dark, trying to find leaks. And you know, it's a difficult day. And sometimes you think to yourself, why am I doing this? You know, this is not easy. There's been some beautiful comments on YouTube, and I appreciate all of them, and including some beautiful comments that are well-intended that I kind of want to talk about. A few of you guys have said stuff like, you know, I'm worried for you guys. How are you going to manage? You keep having problems come up, and are you sure you're not over your head with, you know, all the costs and stuff like that? And I just, like, I really appreciate the sentiment, and I appreciate the love expressed, but no, we're not over our head, and we're not scared. And we're gonna kill this thing, and it's gonna go great. And the reason I know that that's all true is because of faith. It's one of the big ideas of Christianity. It's one of the big ideas of Christianity that, you know, the idea at Advent of Jesus, God sending his son Jesus to come for humans, and to love us. And he asks a few things. He asks you to love your neighbors. He asks you to take care of people, to take care of the hungry, to visit the sick, to take care of the widows and the orphans, a lot of things like that. And there's lots of rules in the Bible, but one of the things he consistently asks for is faith. He wants you to trust him. And we are all in. Leslie and I are all in. You know, if you look at buying a chateau from kind of a human standpoint, it does not make any sense. Like we're smart enough to understand that. It does not make any sense. I read an article the other day of a dude who bought one for 2.7 million, a Californian guy maybe, put 5 million into it and sold it for 4.5. So, I mean, he lost what, $2-3 million. And that is not uncommon. You do not buy one of these things because you're going to make money, because you're not. And so I really appreciate the comments. Like, some people are like, hey, you should start this as a business thing and you should get going. Yeah, maybe we can rent out, an apartment for $100 a night or $200. That's not gonna really put a dent in a big place like this. But when you believe in God, and when you have the resources of the kingdom of God behind you, there's just no fear. And let me try to explain that. Again, Leslie and I are kind of like both feet in with the idea that there is a God, and it's the God of the Bible, and that he cares for us and he wants us to do certain things. We also believe that if we're doing his will, like if we're doing what he wants us to be doing, he'll help us and he'll bring people to us. And he has. It's been incredible. But the beauty of that belief system is that it's a no lose proposition, because if there's a God, and it's the God of the Bible that we're serving, then he's going to be happy with us. He's going to help us out. But if he doesn't, like if he doesn't help us out, like if something terrible happens, one of us dies, or there's an accident, or a chimney falls through the house, I've talked about that many times, or the government kicks us out, if he allows that to happen, if there's a God and he's in control of the world and that happens, then we have to accept that was his will. And we can't accept that, in which case we just retire. We have a nice life. We go live in our little beach house. We're probably going to buy a hot tub. I'm going to golf. It would be a good life. And honestly, I mean, if I had to, go back to a regular job, I would do that in a second. I've liked every job I've had. I would love to be a youth pastor again. That would be thrilling to me. That wouldn't be an insult. Even you could pay me hardly anything, I would still do it, because I love that job. You can't stop a person if they love what they're doing. And so if we fail, if something goes wrong, if we run into problems we can't solve, we accept that from God, no problem. If God wants us to succeed, he will. He'll help, he'll make it happen, and we can walk with confidence. We don't have to stay up at night scheming. We don't have to be worried about what's going to happen. We live in a world that's controlled by a loving and caring God. Now, if there's no God, and we're smart enough to think through possibilities, I think there's a God. I've done my homework. But let's say I'm wrong. Let's say there's no God. Well, then it doesn't matter, right? I mean, if there's no God, then who cares what you do? I mean, do what you want to do. Be nice to people, don't be nice to people. There's no meaning. There's no right and wrong. There's no purpose. And so there's zero loss. I mean, you do what you do. If that's the case, we had a great adventure and we learned a lot of things and we tried some things, and it is what it is. So you guys, there's no fear on our part. We love the support and the encouragement we've had for people, and I don't take that for granted for 1 minute, but we know that ultimately our lives are in God's hands, and we're completely confident with that. And it's a beautiful thought, even when you're waking up at 3:45 with rain falling in you. Guys, thanks for a great day. We'll see you tomorrow.